Okay. All right. So I am recording. Okay. So hi, Amy. So thank
Hi.
you so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate it.
You're
But
so
the
welcome.
reason I wanted to do this, I want everyone to know, what you've gone through in the change that you've had over the last 28 days,
Yeah,
where you've started
absolutely.
and where you've come. So I guess, first of all, I want to talk about how you came to come to RTT and how you felt
Mm.
at that time.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm here in Qatar, actually. Sinead obviously is over there in Ireland, so we've been doing all of this via distance learning. And I came across a post of Sinead's on a Facebook group and just thought, you know what, that sounds a lot like me. And, you were talking about, are you a person that has suffered from anxiety, from depression? These were two things that I was definitely up against in 2020. I think a lot of people are. And I had been going through sort of normal therapy. I'd gone to online therapy sessions and doing a type of therapy specifically called EMDR. I don't know what it stands for, honestly, eye movement desensitization, something like that, which is to basically help you get over trauma, PTSD, anxiety, depression, so all of these heavy sort of topics. And it was working for me, but it was very heavy and very mentally exhausting. And I just felt like there was something else out there for me that could help me to get to where I wanted to be faster and in a more efficient, more kind way. Going through normal therapy, again, inverted commas here, it is extremely mentally demanding. And there were days where I was like, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. This is
Yeah.
hard against
Yeah.
work and social life. It's hard.
Yeah. And you did it.
It's really
So,
hard.
and when you did your session over Zoom, so
Mhm.
how did that feel actually doing it at a distance? Because many people, one, they'll have preconceptions about what hypnosis is and they're afraid of it. And two, they're thinking, hey, we're on the other side of the world. How could that possibly work for me? Will I be able to do this? Will it work for me?
Yeah, no, that I think that's a really good question. My neighbor asked me, "Will you turn into a chicken?" Which I think basically summarizes where everyone's at with hypnosis.
Did I turn you
So
into a chicken?
yeah, yes. Did you turn me into a chicken? No, I am not a chicken. No, so I had all the normal preconceptions about hypnosis as well, and to be honest, a lot of cynicism. I'll be honest with you about, oh, how is this going to work over Zoom? This is the sort of thing that needs to be done face to face. All of these, like, typical stereotypical ideas. But I was actually, now I look back on it, so happy that I did do it over Zoom and at home, because I was comfortable. I got to do the session in my bedroom, lying down in a space that for me is the most calming, relaxing place on earth. And it's my safe space. And I think that actually helped me to get so much more out of the session, which in itself was, you know, it's just really like what people say in interviews, this weird state between being awake and asleep that just felt a lot like being deeply relaxed.
Yeah.
That really is the best way to describe it. At no point did I feel stressed or scared, nervous, or even self-conscious. I think that's the biggest one for me, that I'm, typical. I don't like to cry in front
Yeah.
of other people. I don't feel comfortable with that, especially because I've only just met you. And all of those inhibitions were just stripped away in the most peaceful way possible. And I just felt like I was able to go into the session and get the most out of it. It was great.
It was such a powerful session, Amy. And I think people
Yeah.
need to know as well how much you've come on in such a short time. I mean, it was like 21 days, 28. I mean, it was immediate for you, first of all. And I think it's important to maybe explain the change to people.
Oh, sorry, Sinead, I just lost you there
Yeah,
for a
that's
second.
okay.
So how have I changed? I mean, my goodness. I genuinely, hand on heart, mean this when I say that the RTT is the best investment in myself that I have ever made in my entire life. Not only financially, but spiritually, in terms of the time that I put into it. I am so grateful, because relating it back to what I said about therapy earlier on, I felt like RTT was hitting a fast forward button on that whole process. It made, the rest of the journey that I'm on now seem just like a breeze, to be honest. I felt immediately lighter after the session in terms of emotions. The huge weight of depression was gone. literally like someone had lifted a piece of armor up off of me, and I had energy instantly after the session, which I just thought was incredible. You know, after EMDR, I usually feel very drained, mentally exhausted. Oftentimes, a lot of the negative emotions are carried through after those sessions into the next few days. And it was the complete opposite with RTT for me. I felt energized and like I wanted to see my friends. I wanted to tell everybody. And that was just straight after the session. But what happened after that over the next few weeks was also just incredible. I mean, oh, I feel like there's not enough time to say it all. But, you know, an example was in my session with Sinead, I obviously went back to some childhood traumas. And we sort of like fixed and corrected those in the state of hypnosis. And I went out after the session and got myself a bike and didn't really think anything of it. But it took me a day or two to realize, wait, Amy doesn't go out and buy stuff for herself without beating herself up about it and getting super anxious and overthinking everything about it. And that hadn't happened. I just walked straight into a sports store like a normal person and just got myself a bike. And I had been going out on it without any of the usual inhibitions, anxious thoughts. Oh my God, you're going to fall. This isn't safe. This is stupid. What are people going to think? All of that stuff was just not there. And it felt spontaneous and natural, normal. And I realized this was something I used to love to do when I was a kid. But all of those anxious thoughts, all of those negative cycles had taken over something that I once loved, which is just a metaphor for so many other things in my life. And this was sort of the new me looking at it in a totally different way and being like, no, I can ride a bike. It's okay. It's no big deal. Let's go. Let's go. And, you know, that's just, like I said, one example of just so many. I really just can't summarize them in a shorter way, but it's the best thing I have ever done for myself, ever.
And, you know, in terms of as well, therapy, right? You know, you don't need to necessarily have depression or anxiety, right? There could be for confidence. It can be used for so many different things. Procrastination.
Oh yeah, that's massive.
Right.
Yes.
So there's so much you can get out of this. And I've seen the change in you from the time you sat in front of me, you know, to me, you know, days afterwards. You know, you were just beaming. It was just remarkable to see that glow.
It's a total shift in energy. It's a total shift in energy to the point that, you know, even colleagues and people that I work with that have no idea, none whatsoever, about the personal struggles I've been through over the last few years, have just said to me, like, you know, what's changed? What's new about you? There's something totally different about you. I got a compliment the other day from a stranger who just said to me randomly, I really love your energy, you know, wow, you've got such a great energy. And that was not where I was at before the RTT. The opposite, definitely not.
And I can see it, you know, it's huge, and it just really does. It warms my heart. It's amazing. So what would you say to anybody that's out there that's struggling with whatever it is, right? It could be for physical or even emotional issues. But what would you say to them about, you know, if they're on the fence, they're thinking about RTT, or they're struggling in any type of, you know, emotional issue? What would you say to them?
Have the courage to try it. The easy option is to just say, no, I'm not going to do this. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit, you know, I've never heard of this before. But give yourself that shot to do it, because, you know, I don't see any way but up from this. That's really my experience. And I don't see how anybody in any different, you know, totally different situation to my own maybe. But I really think you can only serve to gain from doing this. There's no risk or there's no downfall to it at all. It's just amazing. And you won't regret it. Just try it. Just go into it and try it. You will be amazed.
And you're not the first. I mean, everyone that I treat gets change. And how much change everyone gets varies. I mean, you've had phenomenal change, and everyone will have their own individual journey, but they all get change. And that's what I absolutely love about this therapy. And it really does.
Absolutely.
It changes a life. And that's really, really, really makes me proud to be doing this, excited. And it's been amazing working with you. I'm absolutely thrilled about how you've progressed.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much, Sinead. It's just, like, I can't say it enough, really. I have so much gratitude for everything that you've done and for just making this an option to me, honestly. And the fact that anyone can access this as well. That's amazing. I didn't need to go to a clinic. I didn't need to worry about taking time off work. It was so easy to schedule everything as well. Like even in terms of getting it all set up and done, I was comfortable. I was at home. I was in my pajamas, you know, like it doesn't get much easier than that, I don't think. And it was just invaluable, really. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy, and thanks for taking the time to share your experience with us.
No worries. My pleasure.